Mayo Experience Week 7 spread picks. I'd say Survivor, but we're all out, so we're not giving those anymore. Plus some SUPERLOCKS, some injuries. We're going to break it all down for you. I'm here. Geoff Fienberg is here. What's up, man?
I'm doing well. I'm going golfing this afternoon. That's how beautiful it is right now.
Well, it wasn't so beautiful on the weekend when it was basically freezing.
And I lost. I've been complaining all season. Like, I've had all these flirting with 500 weeks, record right around 500. I'm like, it's time for something. It's like literally on out Sunday morning. Like, good or bad, it's time. Took a bath.
Oh, really?
I just lost such a chalk teaser because those dang it Falcons that even going 3-1 with other games I bet didn't help. And then I got crushed in what we did over here. It was not a good week. My worst, I think, Super 7 week. It's bad.
Yeah,
the favorites keep the dogs.
It's the year of the dogs. We got a ton of home dogs this time around as well. So you're here. The coin is here. The coin had a nice rebound week in the spread pick'em, but the winner of the spread pick'em for week 6 was Tim Cust.
Tim Cust.
That's not my name.
You did win.
Well, 12-2 is a solid week, even though I didn't make a dime off of it.
All right, yeah, 2 of your favorite bets were the 2 losses?
Yeah, it wasn't good.
That's awesome.
It's
happened to me.
It's hard to do.
Not 12-2, but a couple weeks ago I had like a 9-4 or something, and yeah, you just when you don't win money off those are you go to bed like wondering why you're so.
It's
dumb.
annoying, but as long as the people made some money off of it, that's all I really care about.
Yeah, but people just fade you anyway, so it doesn't work. It doesn't work out either way for anyone because now you're going to go like 2-13 this week, and that's not going to be good.
That's fine. I'm 3 games over 500 for the year, so they want to fade me every time. Have at it.
12-2.
It doesn't hurt my feelings.
You gotta give. Yeah, I make fun of Tim a lot, but credit where credit's due, Mr. Anderson.
So Tim led the week with a 12-2 record. He's up to 46-43. Everyone has 2 pushes, so I'm just gonna throw those out. Like no one cares anymore. I don't need to say the and 2. The coin rebound week 9-5 for the coin, 47-42. I was 8-6 to drop me down below 500, 44-45. You were 5-9, Geoff, 42-47 for the year. But luckily for me, what'd you go in Super 7?
Bad. 2 or it was under 500 for the first time in a few weeks for me.
And Tim went 12-2 against the spread. Tim, what was your Super 7 record?
Yeah, it wasn't my week to make picks, so we went 1-6 as a group.
Oh no!
My week, but it's my week to make picks this week.
And you'll do the same.
Yeah.
I got 6 games right against the spread last week. 6-1 in Super 7. Although for whatever reason, I feel like I had switched my pick to Chicago, and then I went back and picked the cheat sheet, and I didn't. I kept on Baltimore. Although after Tim cursed him, we told him they'd break up his free money parlay.
And they did.
Then I put the Bears in my Super 7 because of that. And then I bet them on the money line. So that was good news. Just, as purpose of the show, it sucks. Yeah, they did break it up. So did Detroit, though. That
was also annoying. I took the 2 games I got wrong.
Yeah, that sucks. All right, let's get right into it. Talking about the Thursday night game. Kansas City at Oakland. Oakland is a 3-point dog at home. I ran through some pace stats. These are 2 of the slowest teams in the league when it comes to running plays per second. That generally points to an under. Like last week, I hit a nice bet on the over of the Tampa Bay and Arizona game, 2 of the fastest, highest pace teams in the league. These are now 2 of the slowest. The only thing that worries me is that we're dealing with basically, bad defenses here. Kareem Hunt could just press this over himself if he really kind of goes nuts. Although I don't like where Kansas City's offense is right now. Tyreek Hill, they're saying he's not dealing with a concussion, although it looks like he's dealing with a concussion. Kelsey just wasn't the same last week. They're down receivers. The offensive line is hurt. I'm not sure where the status of Derek Carr is. He looked all right last week. I mean, you watched all the Chargers game, Geoff.
He didn't look the same.
No.
And they didn't really make many attempts to get the ball downfield.
Well, that's not good
He
news.
Jumpy.
That being said,
someone's about to hit him.
Yeah, no, he didn't. They weren't really making big efforts to stretch the field over the top, where the Chargers have been susceptible at times. Maybe they didn't want to put him in for guys to get downfield. It means you give Bosa and Ingram a chance, but he didn't look the same. What you said concerns me the most would be the offensive line situation for the Kansas City Chiefs. That being said, really upset with myself last week because I always say Thursday nights just pick the better team, and I was a little paranoid about some Eagle injuries, and I flopped on that. I'm going to say the better team is the Kansas City Chiefs. Therefore, I have to find a way to pick him. And you said, I'll tell you what, Kareem Hunt, if he can do half and he can do double what Melvin Gordon did, and all you got to do for your Alex Smith is call Hutt. The Oakland Raider linebackers cannot cover out of the backfield. They cannot cover out of the backfield. There will be little chunk plays all there on first and second down for the Chiefs to get ahead on the chains. That's where I'm going to be leaning.
The coin is with you on Kansas City. Tim, the big thing that I think I'm going to do this week is I should have done it last week in every game that I pivoted off to. I said I wanted to take the home dogs, and I didn't take the Jets, and I really just should have went all in on that. Like, I'm leaning Oakland here in the +3. What are you thinking?
I think the Chiefs have the best offense in the NFL, and the Raiders have the 28th best defense. So just on that alone, I'm going to take the Chiefs. The Raiders are done. I'm finished with them. One should be finished with them. The Chiefs are the first part of a 14 money line parlay that can't lose this week.
Chiefs, are they? So your parlay is going to be broken up by Thursday night?
It's going to It's going to win on Thursday. Start winning on Thursday night. The Raiders don't do anything better than. At no position do the Raiders do things better than the Chiefs, in my opinion, right now.
Well,
there
is.
I don't know how you can pick them.
Well, though, I mean, I have a very logical way of thinking about this, and this is why Oakland's going to win this game. You ready for it?
I know what it's going to be.
Coming into the season, Tim said Oakland would win the Super Bowl. He also said Kansas City would be 1-9, Alex Smith would be benched, and Andy Reid would be fired. Now, all of a sudden, Kansas City's the best team in football, and Tim has given up on the Raiders. Raiders win.
That scares me. I'll say this. I got a parlay tonight that ends tonight. Kansas City Chiefs, Clayton Kershaw. Chiefs on the money line on that parlay. That's where I'm going. And here's the thing. For the Raiders, desperation better breed brilliance, because this is a team riding a 4-game losing streak, going to 5. Their season will end tonight if they lose this game. And on top of that, they got bigger concerns. Because it's all nice, and everyone was like, oh, look at Oakland. They're supporting the team that's leaving. That's because they thought, like Tim, that they were going to win the Super Bowl. They lose 5 games in a row, apathy sets in. Hatred sets in. Get out of town sets in. I know our fan bases aren't the same, but I seen it. I lived it. They drop this game, apathy sets in. It's a real big problem, and it becomes an ugly, ugly scene as the season ends.
Yeah, and Del Rio probably doesn't finish the year. I mean, you wonder if he hasn't lost the team as it is.
I mean, he lost everyone when he started wearing that stupid leather jacket.
That hasn't happened in years.
Yeah, but he still did it, though. He still did it, though, didn't he? He looked like a moron.
And we always knew Marshawn Lynch can't catch the ball. Costly red zone interception for that. Easy little first down. Flicks right off his hands to a Chargers interception. At times, if he's not winning first down, he becomes a liability.
Well, it's weird because from what I watched probably about like 60% of that Oakland, San Diego, LA Chargers game, and Oakland probably should have won. Like, the Chargers played all right, and Oakland just shot themselves in the foot a whole bunch.
Sure.
And it just
I don't know. The Chargers defense kept getting them off the field. I don't know. They won a close division game.
Were you sweating the field goal at the end?
I didn't think we were gonna make it.
I didn't think you were either.
Like,
it was so close.
I didn't think we were going to make it.
All right, so I'm taking Oakland. You three are taking Kansas City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Arizona at Los Angeles. This is from England. It's a regular, 1 o'clock game.
Weird, right?
It's a night game over there.
Thank God.
Okay, so they're trying that.
They've done it before.
This is how they used to do it when they started it.
No. I thought they were always...
No, there's been games like this before. Anyway, the Rams are...
Oh, you're right. Tim is right.
The Rams are favored by 3.5 points here on what is technically they're the home team, but it's a neutral site game. Do you think AP is going to go crazy again, Geoff?
No.
Tim?
I would trade him.
I would trade him, too.
I trade him. If there's someone who actually wants... The guy in my league thinks he's some savant. Like, you should see how he's talking in trades, because he got AP. Like, he thinks he's some wizard. Yeah, man.
Tim, do you have a lean here off the top?
I have a strong lead to the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, going back to your super lock from last week.
I just think that team was starving for an injection of something. And even though Peterson's not going to play like that every week, he brought something to the table. And Carson Palmer is continuing statistically to have a marvelous season, even though no one's noticing. And Larry Fitzgerald is having a really good season, even though nobody is noticing. And that team is 3-3, and one game in the loss column away from having a bye in the playoffs right now. Like, the Cardinals have everything in front of them right now. And this is a divisional game. on a neutral site, and I do not believe the Rams, as good as they are 3.5 points better than the Cardinals right now. I can see the Rams winning it by 3. I can see the Cardinals winning it by 3. I think it's a close game. So if you're going to give me more than a field goal, I think you got to take the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm tempted to agree with pretty much everything Tim said, based on the blind logic. It seems like a lot of points. Other than the fact that all these England games so far this year have been completely one-sided, that kind of concerns me. To the fact that it might not really matter, the hook, because these games seem to go
either big or
the field seems slanted big time, but maybe,
very bigly.
Maybe England gets a show in a close game. So with that, I'll just take the 3.5 points on a game that I have zero vibe on.
I think the Rams wax them here. Arizona, once you get them out of their biorhythms, playing away from Phoenix, they're not so hot.
And I know where you're going to go with this. I mean, the Rams have the pieces to put Carson off the spot. Aaron Donald alone.
Every time that we've seen it this season, the games where Arizona has struggled, the defensive line on the other end has been really good. They move him, and he starts throwing picks.
You're almost guaranteed a short field at some point, if not a 6 the other way.
That's what I'm looking at with the Rams. Like, I actually think this could be somewhat of, I mean, Carson Palmer is putting up a lot of stats. Like, some of his stats are coming very junky. Like, even that Philly game when they were down by a bunch, he started junking up to points at the end. Like, I could see this being like a 24-0 game at some point. Maybe they bring it back to 24-21. I don't think they would. I'm not going to play that backdoor with the Cardinals, but I think the Rams wax them here. And I don't even really like the Rams, but I think this is a very bad matchup for Arizona. Like, they're going to need to get Peterson going early and get him going good. If that doesn't happen, they're screwed. So I'm going Arizona the coin, or I'm going the Rams the coin. We'll go Arizona with y'all.
You're the outlier through 2.
That's not usually how it goes.
I'd rather be in your spot.
As the outlier?
Yeah.
Instead of agreeing with Tim. Well, the coin and Tim are winning, so agreeing with them is probably the way to go.
I guess I'm piggybacking them.
Baltimore at Minnesota. Minnesota is a 5.5 point favorite at home against the Ravens. This line is just really weird.
And I always find the 5.5's weird because the book's like, I don't trust them to lay the touchdown, but they're definitely worth more than the field goal.
They're definitely better. We know that.
I could make a big mistake here and vouch for Baltimore, and it's really only going to be because if you look at the Minnesota point totals this year, in the majority of their games, there haven't been high. There's like a 7, a 9, if I had it in front of me, but they're not scoring a lot of points that make me think that they cover a big number. Very sharp play last week on the Minnesota Vikings. Lucky to fade them going against Aaron Rodgers. One of the few things I did right. But
that was one of my Super 7 picks.
Bold.
Minnesota.
Very bold.
But it was a home dog. Like
very bold.
Rodgers aside, it's a home dog with team.
I took it here. I didn't have the stones to take it in the pick 7.
Pro Football Focus released a defensive rankings. Minnesota number 1.
Yeah,
best defensive team in the league.
So that makes me think they could find a way to get over this number. But again, you look at the point totals outside. I feel like that big Week 1 game, they're not scoring a lot of points, so it shouldn't take a lot for Baltimore to get this done. That being said, I'm pretty certain the worst quarterback in the league, not named Deshaun Kaiser, is...
I don't even think... Flacco might be worse.
No, I believe I saw going into last week, they said Deshaun Kaiser, I saw a stat or someone tweeted something, Flacco statistically is the only quarterback not as... Kaiser, worst. Second worst, Joe Flacco.
He was trying to target players facing his own end zone last week when he got spun around too much.
What's so funny is the Ravens, unlike a lot of teams that just get receivers, they actually put effort into drafting them.
And none of them are any good.
Ever!
The one thing from the Minnesota side of the ball here, it looks like Stefan Diggs isn't practicing yet. So maybe he comes back on Friday and everything is fine, but he has a history of underperforming when he's been limited in practice all week. And I think that really takes away from their offensive dynamic. Like, Thielen and Jarek will continue to be good fantasy plays, but now the Baltimore's getting healthier on defense. They should be able to stop the run a little bit. If they get any sort of pass rush, their secondary is still pretty good. 5.5 just seems like a lot of points. Tim, where are you going here? Because I haven't made up my mind yet.
Yeah, the Ravens are getting too many points. They have, according to DVOA, a top 5 defense. They have the best special teams in the NFL. Yeah, their offense is bad, but they seem, they've won as many games as they've lost. And the Vikings have gotten some luck, considering last week. So, I don't know, it's too many points. The Vikings don't score enough for me to want to lay 5.5 with them. So I'm going to take the Ravens.
3 for 3 with Tim.
Yeah, that's true. And the coin is going Baltimore as well. Here would be my case for Minnesota. And I guess you could somewhat
The defense.
say is the defense.
And Flacco sucks.
Yeah, Flacco sucks, and the defense does the scoring for them, or sets them up with enough short fields that they win this game 12-3 or something.
Listen, we watched them play Pittsburgh a few weeks ago. They were down by a touchdown. Every time I looked at that game, Baltimore was down by a touchdown
and driving
and at midfield, and nothing else, and then a pick or something. So again, it's just the Minnesota total point totals have me thinking Baltimore can just weasel a cover. But if Minnesota's D wreaks havoc, big emotional win though, right? They take out. I mean, Rodgers is out the year, and now all of a sudden, I mean, in that locker room, they believe they could beat the Packers and win the division. But now the national media is like, oh, you guys are going to go now win a division.
We'll talk about the Packers when we get to them. I'm not putting the pitchfork in them quite yet.
Me neither.
Either the Vikings or Packers have the best quarterback in the division. So, I mean, handicapping it, the Lions are probably in the best spot.
Yeah, the Lions are plus 375 to win the division right now.
I'm
not saying I think that'll happen, but I think the Lions have a better shot than Green Bay does, for example, and has as good a shot as the Vikings.
I'm going to tell you guys on Baltimore. I just do think it's too many points. But if Minnesota wins this game 20-3, I'll be like, I should have saw that coming.
And Teddy's back at practice.
And I'll bet on the Ravens next week.
Oh, Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, emotional. They have the cameras out as he walked back on the practice field for the first time. Good for him.
Not seeing him this year. That's not happening.
I think we have a better chance of seeing Teddy Bridgewater than Andrew Luck at this point.
Oh my God.
After poor Tim cursed Andrew Luck, the Colts win this game. Bring back Andrew Luck next week. They'll win the Super Bowl. Out for the year.
I never said they would win it. I just said they'd be as good as any team in the AFC. Because other than the Chiefs, there's no good teams.
Pittsburgh's looking okay.
No, Pittsburgh's a terrible team. I had them in my top 5, and that just tells you how terrible the top 5 is. Because they're terrible.
All right, Carolina at Chicago. Chicago is a home dog, getting 3 points here. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think Chicago wins. On that defensive list, Chicago, number 3 defense in football right now. Very good pass rush. They're getting healthy. We saw them cause problems last week with Baltimore. The offensive line for the Panthers is not all that good. Granted, they have playmakers, and this could always turn out poorly, and if the Bears rely so much on defensive stands and defensive turnovers to generate points, eventually that blows up in your face. But I don't know, home dog, give me the +3 in Chicago.
On the belief that Kuechly isn't playing, I'm also going to lean Chicago. I think this is going to be a very publicly sided Carolina wager.
I can't get a grasp of that, though.
And the extended rest also for Carolina is a bit of a factor.
That they'll be more prepared for this game?
Just like usually when the team plays on Thursday, that's always an extra check mark for the following week. But again, I think
this game comes down to how well Carolina can stop Jordan Howard. If Jordan Howard can dictate the pace of play like he did last week against Baltimore, Chicago's going to win.
And I believe to that,
or keep it within a field goal.
I don't think Kuechly's playing, and I think that spread should drop. Like without Luke Kuechly, I would even drop it off the hook.
Tim, are you buying the Panthers?
Yeah, extended rest. I still don't believe the Bears can play 2 really good games in a row. Maybe they will. I don't care that they're home. I think that they played great last week. They played above their heads last week. The Panthers can score points. They're a talented team. And let's say the Panthers put up 24. The Bears, I don't think, can put up 27 against them and win. So I just think here, just take the significantly better team, and that's the Panthers.
Well, I look back at the games that Carolina has struggled in this year, and it's been against 2 teams with an excellent pass rush. As much as I got into it with Siege on the Draftkings show yesterday, the one thing that the Saints defense is really, really good at is getting to the passer. And we saw that in the Carolina Saints game. They got to the passer and rattled Cam. What's the other game they lost? Philadelphia. What happened? Philadelphia's got to Cam every single time. I think that the Bears are going to be able to do the same thing. And if they can just not be stupid, Trubisky doesn't turn the ball over, I think they win.
Okay, well, I don't believe he will. So,
and you're with me. The coin is also siding with Chicago, so I like that. Jacksonville, or Saxonville, as they're known, at Indy. Indy is a home dog here, +3. This is going to be one of the home dogs that I am not going with. Jacksonville wins every second week, and we just talked about like pass rush versus bad offensive lines. This is the best pass rush versus like the 3rd worst offensive line. Jacksonville just needs to do a little bit of scoring, and I worry about Fournette's ankle, that he's not going to be healthy. But even if you have to sub in Ivory, I think that they're going to be able to run it on them. And the one big thing that teams can do against Jacksonville to really get to them and really open up stuff, like we saw last week with the Rams, they were running these trick plays, but Gurley was running the ball effectively. Is Marlon Mack going to run it down their throats? Is Frank Gore going to run it down their throats? I don't think so. I mean, I don't see that happening, so I think Jacksonville wins.
I like Jacksonville. I worry they could win with inside the 3 points, but I don't want to bet Indy, although I take back a lot of things I said about Indy. They're competing hard despite a lot of things that they're going through. The one thing that's going to really probably prevent me from actually putting real money on this game, though, Pat, is what do you think? I don't know the answer, but I can only imagine what Blake Bortles' record laying points on the road is.
I'm sure it's 0.
Yeah. So, but we'll try. We'll go for it.
Instead of investing in a quarterback, you know what they should invest in? A really good kicker.
They dropped their kicker and signed the old Charger kicker, Josh Scobie, today.
Yeah, Scobie. Didn't they used to have Scobie?
Josh Lambo. They used to have Scobie.
But the thing is, if they had Justin Tucker, let's say.
Oh, I wish the Chargers had.
Like
what the Chargers had Justin Tucker? We 4-2.
Would have lost multiple playoff games to the Jets.
And might have gone to a Super Bowl.
Poor Nate. How does Nate Keating not have a job? Is he like just?
He's been dead for a while. My wife hates him more than I do.
Nate Keating is my favorite kicker ever.
I hate you.
Why? Well, what about all those times you were saying that what's his face? Nick Folk should win MVP. Now he's out of the league. Did they replace him yet?
No, they did not. But Keating put the Jets.
Move along.
Tim, I assume you're taking Indy.
Yeah, the Jags haven't won an Indy since 2012.
So they can never win there again.
I don't think they're going to win there with Blake Bortles. I'm sorry. Jacoby Brissett is pretty decisively the best quarterback in this game. I don't trust Fournette's ankle, sorry. I just think indoors at home in a divisional game with two, I think, pretty mediocre teams, the Colts get it done. I think the Colts win the game on the field, and I definitely think they cover the number.
When you look at this, and I agree with you that Brissett is a lot better than Bortles, but if there's one, Indy does nothing well at all. There's not one thing you can point to on Indianapolis right now and be like, the Colts are really good at this.
They have a top 10 special teams.
Oh, well, there you go. Jacksonville has a top 3 defense in football, and they get to the passer. That's the best unit in this game, and whenever the Jags have won this year, that has really been the difference, and this is really a game I think they can take advantage of it because I don't think that the Colts can get the ball on the ground and run it down their throats. If Jacksonville can get out to a lead here and not give up, maybe the special teams will play. We saw last week the Rams take the opening kickoff back to the house. Pharaoh Cooper. Great name, Pharaoh Cooper. But I don't know, if that doesn't happen and the Jags jump out to a 10-0 lead, I don't see the path where Indy comes back because the bombs of T.Y. Hilton just aren't going to work in this game.
I trust T.Y. Hilton and that offense more than I just think Bortles can ruin any game he's in. And if you're laying points with him on the road, you are asking to set your money on fire. I think this is a game where you bet the Colts or you don't bet it. I think you're crazy to bet on Blake Bortles on the road laying points.
I'm starting to like the Jags more.
Would you rather bet Blake Bortles on the road laying points or take any of Tim's pre-tournament golf picks?
Are you asking me or Tim?
Just in general.
I would rather lay the Jags on the road.
Yeah, because they're both fire. So I'll try the fire with the Jags.
Yeah, at least that's a fun one.
Yeah.
It's not just oh my God, this is a 4-day tournament. It's over after 2 minutes.
Ha 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 ha. I'm going to be better this year.
Are you?
Yeah.
People would just rather you abstain from making picks. You know that, right?
Yeah, well, too bad.
He was a man of his word. He took a leave of absence this year and came back in amazing fashion.
Poor Dustin Johnson, man. That was his U.S. Open to win. Had to miss the cut because he was Andercursed. New Orleans at Green Bay. I feel like this is going to be the biggest public side of the week. Because everyone that I've talked to, because I think it said Green Bay might not be done. They could be okay. We don't know. And everyone's like, no, you're wrong. New Orleans is great. Green Bay might be the worst team in football without Aaron Rodgers. I'm not buying that. Everyone could be right and I could be wrong. I'm willing to leave that out there, but I want to see it happen first. Home dogs, -5, Green Bay. I don't think the Saints are all that good. They're all right. I think Green Bay's all right. New Orleans on a neutral site field, or just in terms of talent, they might be better. In this spot, at home, +5, got the big injury. You always like to talk about the big injury factor. And the teams played the week one after, and they come out fire.
Thank you, Pat, for putting this on a tee for me. Not just that. Good teams. When good teams lose their quarterback, the first game, I'm telling you there's good things. I can't speak for anything else because they'll hit a wall. They can only exert this effort so much. The Packers are the play this week. They're going to play their asses off. Mike McCarthy and that coaching room are going to coach their asses off. This is going to be the best week of practice the Packers have had in years, and they're going to show up. Funny note about this game, RJ Bell in Vegas tweeted, according to Vegas, Aaron Rodgers is the most important player in the history of football because the early line on this game was like Packers -6.
So he's an 11
So it's like a 10.5, 11-point swing on this game. According to Vegas, Aaron Rodgers, by that, has been proven to be the most valuable player in the history of point spread football. I don't care. I'll acknowledge the Saints. A lot of weird things happened in that second half.
This could also be a rout. I'm not.
They're playing defense right now that we need to talk about, and I think even a lot of like people who follow football just have the perception of that Saints D.
It's their pass rush. Their pass rush is really good, and they finally found a corner who can like slow people down.
And now a lot of those points last week were turnovers and weird things that the Lions sort of piled on and short fields would have you. But look at the point totals for a run that the Saints really have been giving up points to the other team's offense. Full credit. I'll give Sean Payton, who I bashed a couple weeks ago, full marks for fixing that. But I love the spot that the Green Bay Packers are in, getting these points. Good team, game 1 with the backup.
I love this too. I'm going to take the +5, and I'm going to wait till Sunday to actually bet
Thank
it.
you.
Because
great point.
More people are just going to pound the Saints, because, as we'll hear, Timmy Public is going to tell us why the Saints are going to roll here.
Well, first I was just going to acknowledge that you just pulled the Barack Obama classic. Well, some people think Green Bay is the worst team in the NFL, and other people think the Saints are the best team in the NFL. But I don't believe in either of those extremes. I fall in the middle. It's a disingenuous move he used to make all the time. Pretend like he was a centrist on any issue.
I didn't mean to bang
He's done the same thing here. Nobody thinks Green Bay is the worst team in the NFL.
You do.
Nobody
Your
thinks
words.
the Saints are the best team.
Your
in
words.
The NFL.
You said both those things on Monday's show.
I said neither of those things. I think the Packers will not be okay in this game because I don't think their head coach is competent, and therefore I don't trust him to be able to get this team ready. He has been the luckiest man in the NFL to be able to coach in his career as a head coach. Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, basically uninterrupted, with a little stretch of Matt Flynn. I don't know. Listen, I understand your point, and I'd usually be on board with that, but I know nothing about Hundley, and I just think it could have a depressive effect on the team. We saw when he came in against the Vikings, he was garbage.
But the Vikings also have the best defense in football. Let's not forget about that.
But the Saints have played good defense enough that I don't love the pick. It's not going to be in a Super 7 by any means. I just think the Saints win by 2 touchdowns.
The Packers.
So I like the Saints.
Sorry about that, Tim. But let's say the Packers are a median team. They never had Aaron Rodgers. They're just a median team like every other team in the league.
They could be 8-8. They could be 6-9.
Yeah. They don't have the expectations of having the best player in the league coming off that Dallas game and then getting hurt the following week. People don't like. There's the Drew Brees on the road going into any sort of situation where you sometimes, why would I want to lay these points anyway?
Oh, I'm just laying them here on the show. This is not a bet.
No, I'm not talking to you in general. I'm talking to the audience.
I'll say that because Brees, even though his track record on the road is spotty, we have Drew Brees.
Brees needing to win by a touchdown on the road. I'm telling you, that career number is not good.
Well, I think the Drew Brees on the road thing gets.
Brett Hundley.
Well, I mean, at least you're calling him Brett Hundley now. On Monday's show, he's calling him Nick Hundley.
I can't be Hundley.
I really wanted the Chargers to draft this Hundley a couple years ago just to stash him and develop. I really liked him in college.
You think he's better than Kellen Clemens?
I don't debate Kellen Clemens. Kellen Clemens hasn't.
Kellen Clemens is very competent.
He's horrible.
Kellen Clemens
he's a decent backup.
I watched preseason games. No. Like 4 years ago, he might have been decent.
He started for us.
Oh, yeah, he did start for the Jets.
He was terrible. We wouldn't win a game if Rivers got hurt. A game we wouldn't win. I'm telling you, we wouldn't.
Maybe they'd bring in Kaepernick.
Maybe.
All right, so Green Bay for me, Green Bay for Geoff, Green Bay for the coin, and the Cust is taking the Saints. And I'll acknowledge,
I'm taking this on principle, but this 5's a bad number. Because, like you said, I think we could flirt with the touchdown come people deciding how they want to bet it.
Jets at Miami, rematch of a game where I really thought Miami was going to roll last time around. They're now getting 3 points at home. Tim, are your jumbo Jets done after getting the biggest screw job in the world last week?
I think we're reeling from the league just purposely going out of its way to blow up our year. I don't know how you recover from. I don't trust Todd Bowles to be able to coach this team up to get over that sort of absolute screw job. I still can't get over it. I'm trying. I can't. So I can only imagine how the players in the locker room must feel. The Dolphins will want revenge after losing a pretty bad game at the Meadowlands. Dolphins are a good home team and have been for the last couple of years. It's a tough spot to go into. I don't know. The Dolphins are the least impressive team with 3 wins, but yet they've won. You know, they beat the Falcons. That's a really good win on the road. They were huge dogs, and they did it. And they didn't even play well, and they did it. I don't know. I just think the number is a fair line. I think the Dolphins win by 4 or 5 or 6. So give me the fish. Sigh.
I'm taking Miami as well. The big thing that Miami can do right now is that they can shut down the run a little bit, and that's basically what New York is going to try to do. Use their backs. Bilal Powell may or may not play. Robbie Anderson popped up on the injury report, too, with an ankle problem, so he's now questionable. Devontae Parker will not go. It looks like he has yet to practice for the Dolphins. So Draftkings-wise, I know he's $6,800, but Jarvis Landry looks like he might get 15 targets in this game. So he's a pretty safe play. I'm going to take the Dolphins. I think Jay Ajayi can finally get it going.
I think Ajayi will. If Ajayi goes for 200 in this game, I won't be surprised.
Make it a sweep, at least among the 3 of us, for the Dolphins. The only real concern for me as it pertains to them would be that they play Thursday versus Baltimore. But there's a revenge factor here, and I'll be honest, great effort and game by the New York Jets, but I take a couple points away because I'm starting to see what Tim sees. Doing hanging with New England isn't worth, to me, what I think it's worth to
the public,
the point spread and the perception. But yeah, it's just the gap between 2 teams playing. I've never seen so small before for a second time. Would they play week 3?
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Like even Chargers.
I
Denver.
thought Chargers Denver was small, but that was week 1.
Yeah,
week 1 to this one. This is even smaller. Give me the Dolphins at home, a place they've been so few and far between. I just think they find a way to outmuscle the Jets.
The coin likes the Jets. And Tim is now, based on the way he's talking, he has reverse cursed the Jets.
I see what he's doing.
No, I mean, I believe it. I mean, all I owe
he
the
only
public,
says things he believes, folks.
Yeah, all I owe the public is my honest opinion, and that's what it is.
All right, Tampa Bay at Buffalo. Buffalo, we're taking this from the Super Contest because this game's off the board because we're not sure if Jameis is going to play or not. I think he does play, but it's -3.5 Buffalo. I think Buffalo's a play against team until they show any sort of competence. I mean, Jordan Matthews might be back, probably won't because he just had thumb surgery, so I don't know if he can catch. They also have another receiver on their team who's their number 1 receiver. He can't catch. Charles Clay isn't playing. Like, Shady needs to go bonkers in this game. I think Tyrod can put up points against this defense, but whether it's the Fitzmagic, which would be a revenge game, or it's Jameis, I think there are too many weapons. Tampa Bay's defense is banged up, and it's not good right now. But if they get any sort of healthier, they either win or they lose by 3. I'm taking Tampa. This might be my super lock.
I'm going to take Tampa as well, and I am epic miscalculation for me vouching for them last week.
We tried to talk you out of that one.
That was so dumb, and I almost was going to go to this game, but the Chargers decided to win 2 in a row. 2 weeks ago, I feel I said right here, going forward, San Diego play on team. I know what I said. Buffalo play against team, and you sort of alluded to it, Pat. And I'd have no problem if it is Fitzmagic, and give me, how many points would I get?
I don't even know if it would change.
No, it might change by a point or so. I mean, someone put up a great graphic of the Fitzpatrick wheel, which is he's terrible, he gets cut, gets signed as a backup, gets into a game, plays great, gets paid, sucks, gets cut. It's just a constant rotation for him.
I mean, he's a smart man, that Harvard man.
Oh, if I have to hear one more time about the Princeton to Princeton connection between him and Brait, I'll lose my mind.
The Harvard to Harvard
and
connection?
I'll say this,
Harvard to Harvard connection. There you go.
Listen, the big thing about the Bills' defense right now is that the pass rush hasn't been as good as people think it has been, and they keep getting lucky turnovers.
Yes, the math shows no team has gotten luckier turnovers. And I don't know how you equate what is a lucky turnover. Maybe it's the A.J. Green knocking one up to the receiver.
In the Falcons game, off the hands of the receiver, just boom, right?
Yeah, so
and back the other way.
I can't speak for each one, but the math and the people that follow it acknowledge the Bills have been getting luckiest turnovers.
They got their graphs.
Yes.
And there's points.
that the Bills' turnovers are completely unsustainable, according to people who are smarter than me, and that's why I'm happy to fade them.
Tim, which way are you going?
I agree with everything Geoff said, except that a turnover machine is coming to town in Jameis Winston. And if it's not him, another turnover machine called Ryan Fitzpatrick is coming to town.
His name is Fitzmagic?
And so either way you want to cut it, turnovers are coming. And the Bills are going to beat the Buccaneers down. I think the Bills win it pretty comfortably. The Bills are the second leg of a 4-team money line.
Oh, that's risky. There it is. That might just make Tampa Bay my super lock.
I got a bunch of buddies going to this game. As I said, I could have gone. And the local weather we've been having, the amount of people that they're so lucky to see get put through a table in the parking lot, I'm pretty jealous. It's going to be the Bills Mafia out of a bye with this October weather we're getting up here.
It's going to be pretty drunk.
It's going to be a scene.
Well, I mean, last time Tim and I were there at the tailgate before the game, we saw multiple people just chugging Bailey's Irish Cream.
I love it.
Shotgunning it.
Yeah, just.
I love it. It is a American treasure. Football USA at its finest. In professional sport, what goes on in Buffalo doesn't go on anywhere else anymore. In professional sport, it is an extinct. It is an endangered species.
I feel like if you went to Arrowhead, it would be very similar.
They're like actually cooking good food and like doing it a little more formally. I promise you. But I can't wait to go to Arrowhead.
Yeah, the Bills is like the Bills pregame is like the lowest of the low rent thing you could ever be a part of.
But it is an experience that if you love football, I know it seems like the least appealing thing in the world to go to Orchard Park, New York, stay at the Red Roof Inn.
You can stay at Seneca Casino and make the trek in the morning.
And go
don't
to
get lost on Whirlpool Road.
Yes, and go to a Bills tailgate. It truly is. It is a magical scene.
All right, last of the early games, Tennessee at Cleveland. Cleveland is getting
this simple.
I'm taking Tennessee. Tennessee. I'm not betting on the Browns anymore.
No, me neither. We're done with the Browns. I have nothing to say. The Geoff put it the right way last week. They're good at nothing. They're a terrible team.
But your main man Kaiser's back.
The Titans are winning. The Titans are the third end of a money line parlay.
The only thing that's confusing about it is who's betting Cleveland at 5.5.
I don't know.
What's going on? Like, the books try to make a number that takes 50-50 action. Yes, sometimes they want to bait us. I don't believe at this point they're willing to bait us with the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, who's lining up being like, you know what? Give me the Browns.
Yeah, I don't get it. Again, this is a team that plays football like Norv Turner plays blackjack.
The coin likes Cleveland.
It doesn't know.
That's the thing. The coin.
It's analytics based, like the Browns. It doesn't know.
It has graphs, all right, and a model.
It doesn't know what it's doing.
Hey, it's not susceptible to trap games. That's the one thing the coin knows. It won't fall into that trap. I don't know. There's something wonky about this line. It would make me hesitant to put Tennessee in like a parlay
or money line, like just to juice it up. Is Tim putting it on? Oh yeah, it is on the free.
It's on his free money parlay, which is now 1-5 for the year and 1 in 101 lifetime.
Great. It's one game worse than my super locks.
You know what's great? So yeah, but you're not calling your super locks free money. Super lock is just a title that we give a pick on a show. Tim's handing out free money to the casino. So, you know how ProLine works. If people don't know...
let's not tell the story.
If people don't know what ProLine is, it's the biggest taker scam in the world. So basically, in Canada, you can go to the corner store and play sports parlays if you want to. It's fun, like when I was 16 and like illegally doing it. It was a lot of fun. And then once you understand the concept of how odds work and how parlays work, it's the world's worst bet. Like, you have to parlay things together. You cannot do single game betting.
It has to be at least, I think, 3.
Yes, and it gives you a certain amount of spread. So, like, if anything is within 3 points, it's technically a tie. So, if you bet on one team and they win, but they win by 2 or they win by 3, it's a tie, you lose.
Like, the first ever ProLine I won is like a 12-year-old. I thought I won because the team won, but I didn't know the tie concept. And then you have a convenience store clerk
being like, you don't get the winner, gagnant. Neither did Tim, and here is why. Do you know what Tim lost on? So they give you odds on these things. So if you bet the home team and they're a big favorite, it's your bet times whatever the odds are times whatever the odds are. That's how it pays out. So if you have like a big favorite team, like if a team is favored by like 10 points, it'll be like 1.05. So for every dollar you bet, you win 5 cents. Tim put Atlanta on his ticket last week. For no reason. Like, I don't understand the point of putting them on. It gives you nothing.
That's
And
not just.
Do you know what it gave you? A big loss.
Well, because you have to pick 3. It's basically like picking 2.
You don't have to pick 3. Yeah, you can pick 2 if you want to.
Yeah, but it's like picking 2 when you.
But it's not really like picking 2 when that game loses it for you and gave you nothing anyway.
What were the odds of that happening?
Apparently a lot greater than you thought.
That I just got screwed.
He does it all.
That game screwed me so hard.
But he does it all the time. He puts the biggest favorite, like 2 of the biggest favorites of the week on the card for nothing that would ever benefit him, and then he loses because of it.
It doesn't move your winning number enough to make it worth being.
No, not at all. Anyway, we're done with the 1 p.m. slate. We'll get into the afternoon games in a second, but when we get to this point of the show, people need to know that it's time for Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
Again, I think we could come up with another name for the segment.
No, the people know it. It has SEO value now. We can never change it.
Ugh.
So last week we went through Tim's Black Tuesday when he got his Twitter characters taken away from him. Normally he comes out with a list, and sometimes he'll tell me in advance what it is. I have no idea what he's going to rank or complain about today. I told him he has one thing that he can talk about, whatever's on his mind. So Tim, the floor is yours.
2 things.
You don't get 2 things, you get 1 thing.
So I'm going to let you pick which I talk about.
Go ahead.
I have a listing of the best takeout Chinese food. Or
that is way
That's
way
local.
Yeah, that's very localized. That won't even make sense.
I understand, but
no, not of places, of dishes. Like foods.
Oh, okay. What's the other one?
The other one is I want to complain about technological implementation in sports, whether it be the strike zone box or the stupid shot tracker in golf, or I want to rant about that. So what would you rather talk about?
Yeah, well, the Chinese food thing's stupid because you're going to be like, sweet and sour chicken balls, the greatest thing to come out of China since Yao Ming.
Well, those sweet and sour chicken balls were a decisive one. But anyway.
It's not even real fucking Chinese food.
And egg rolls were 2.
Do the sports thing.
So if you're watching baseball in the playoffs as I am, or if you're watching, just about any sport, you watch football, the television viewing experience has been so radically changed over the last few years, and it's to the detriment of the sport, whether it be in baseball with the strike box. Apparently it's all a part of this millennial culture where they can't spend 10 minutes to study and understand anything. They need instant gratification. So they can't use their own eyesight to figure out whether they think that's a ball or a strike. No, they need to see it on a digital box, or they can't know that the line to gain for a first down is the 24. Oh, no, they need to have a yellow line. But that's not enough. They also need, during the end of games, big, thick red lines to let me know what the farthest line is the kicker can get to kick a field goal.
I like that stuff.
It's so stupid. And, of course, golf...
One second. Before you go into golf, the strike box is actually incredibly helpful for baseball because you can't tell what a ball and strike is from the angle that they show you the pitcher at. Yeah, you can't tell because it's not on the right angle, you fool. You don't know.
And honestly, the way I conduct myself before a third down, whether on defense or offense, I greatly appreciate that yellow line being clear and decisive.
No, this part of what makes going to the event better is you don't have these stupid lines. You can just see with your own eyes where the spot is.
Yeah, but you're not talking about going to it. You're talking about watching it on TV.
I don't need it. I don't need all these these doodads.
Do you want to know because
I don't want.
I don't even watch the sport that much, but I'm adamant hockey needs to try again with the glow puck.
No.
I'm adamant with the new technology. They could do it right.
How about we
I can never see that stupid thing.
Oh, no, I disagree. I find you can follow the puck.
It's pitter-pattering in the corner.
I don't even like the scoreboard being on TV constantly. That annoys me.
Do you want the down and dis? Do you want to know it's 2nd and 6, or you just want to see with no yellow line? You just want to see the 80-year-old guy holding up that orange and black stick and figure it out for yourself?
No, I want, as soon as the ball is snapped, the scoreboard to go away.
I'll give him that.
And then as soon as the play is over, it can come back. Yeah. I don't need to see that every 10 seconds.
Yeah,
it's all about...
Yeah, but that then creates a lot of production problems.
Oh, what a shame. It's not like they paid billions of dollars for this. They can afford it. I have no
No,
sympathy for that.
it would just lead to a lot of mistakes and a lot of it's a hassle that the production team just wouldn't want to have. Speaking of someone who comes from production, that's the Chiron guy now needs to fire that up every single time, and just it will cause problems with bringing different graphics on the screen, queuing stuff up at the right time. It's another thing for the director to pay attention to. Now that's way too.
Do you
problematic.
like knowing how many? Do you like knowing how many timeouts are left, or you just like count the whole way because you're just paying attention? You're just like
No,
tracking
I don't
it
mind
yourself.
showing the timeouts, but again, the scoreboard doesn't need to be up there every second. It doesn't need to be there constantly. It's the same as the strike box. I don't need to be told by a computer machine whether the pitch I just saw with my naked eye was a strike or not.
But again, you don't know because you're not looking at the right angle.
I have a question.
What's more important, I don't need to know because it's
some
not up to me.
some people like to know, and people like to see how hilariously wrong the umps are.
It's not up to me.
Tim, this is related, but I'm related. When you go to a ball game, do you like keep manual score?
Yes, I like to.
I love that.
I don't always do it because I don't always get there exactly on time. It can be difficult if I'm in a city I'm not used to. But if I can get there on time and get the scoreboard, the program, yes, I do like to score a game. It keeps you in the game.
And what do you have against Shot Tracker and golf, which everyone unanimously agrees rules?
Again, when golf was at its best, it was because Tiger Woods was hitting good shots, and we didn't need stupid shot tracker. If you can't figure out where a golf ball is going without some
you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, as someone who watches golf all year long, watches every single event, like you can't, like if a guy's hitting a wedge, every time you look at a golfer hit a ball, it looks like it's wide right every single time.
Part of the drama is not knowing instantaneously whether the ball is perfectly left or perfectly right or perfectly. It is a terrible.
Part of the beauty is the ball flight. Part of the beauty is the ball flight.
And seeing the shot shape.
Like a shot shape into a par 3? Get over yourself.
It's brutal. It's the same as the little Chiron on the green that says, "Oh, they have a 4.6% make."
That's dumb. But what I do like sometimes
when they show the break,
they have the grid. But European Tour coverage does that a lot.
Spitting in my face here.
Sorry. European Tour coverage does that a lot. They actually highlight the path, the ball.
Yeah.
Like they have a lane, and they're like the ball will need to stay in this glowed up lane to get in the hole.
Yeah, it's like Tiger Vision from the old Tiger Woods game.
Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I don't know.
I prefer a purer experience of the sport where I'm just watching it as it's being filmed without filters and without add-ons.
You like everything that didn't exist, though. Like we've determined this. Like you would light a candle instead of flipping a light switch.
Yeah, you would just prefer to. Well, I just don't understand why you don't listen to all the games on the radio.
That's not the same thing. At all, and it's not. My point is not that I'm against change.
Yeah, you are. No, you're pretty anti-change.
What I'm against is change that I don't believe makes the situation better. I don't think it improves the visual experience of the game to have yellow lines glowing on the first down marker, or to have a box for the strike zone.
No. You have no idea how much, like, when they're at Doral on 18.
They don't play at Doral anymore, unfortunately. Trump came in.
Sure. But you know, that like 18th hole where you got to clear all that water off the tee, and you got DJ, he's got a 1-stroke lead. I need that tracker.
Oh, like we saw it on when he won
the playoff in the first playoff.
What's it called now? The Genesis. When he
No, that wasn't the Genesis. That was Northern Trust Genesis was what he won really early.
Oh yeah.
In California,
fair enough.
Riviera was Genesis.
So Northern Trust now. Yeah, they switched names.
How did people ever watch Jack Nicklaus or Arnold Palmer or Tiger Woods?
How did people go to the dentist? How did people take painkiller? Like, I don't know, man.
It's because we don't need this stuff. We get addicted to these things that don't. It doesn't help our enjoyment of the sport.
It does. It helps everyone besides you. Oh, I don't even know why you watch sports. Why do it? If it's causing you so many problems and you can't even deal with it.
I like knowing that kicker line.
I love the kicker line.
Especially in college. I'm so against you, man. 2-minute drill, 4-quarter, field goal game. That kicker line's important.
No, it's not. It actually isn't important because the line doesn't mean anything.
Okay, fine, you're right, but it's a
nice visual to have on the screen to see where they need to get.
I don't need a visual. I can hear the commentators
Yeah,
say he has
Tim's like, I know he just needs to get to the 33 because I know 33 plus 17, it's a 50-yarder, and that's what he can do. I get it. We can all do that.
Tim is not good at math, so don't.
I am at that kind of stuff.
No, you're not. Just don't assume Tim is good at math.
Like, I get what he's saying, but I don't know why he actually has a problem.
No, but the big thing is that, especially football, the reason that the score is on the screen mainly, and these lines are up there, is because a lot of people, I don't watch the game. One game has sound on, but I watch 8 games at once. So many people watch so many different games all at the same time on different screens that these visual aids help people watch the game.
Well, Tim's dad just watched one TV in one game, Pat, so you should too and be fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, Tim doesn't like it when people come out and say, oh, people need to live this way or people need to live this way, but he's fine telling you how you should watch stuff.
I'm just saying, I, as a viewer, prefer a more stripped down, bare bones, pure experience. That's me. That's what I enjoy aesthetically.
Well, what you should do is get a job in TV and then just work in the broadcast truck, and then you'll have the raw feed for everything with no gizmos on the screen.
They're coming to get him.
Yeah. Trying to lock him up in the fucking loony bin.
Criminal Minds, this guy. He's probably up to something.
All right. That was Cust Corner.
Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. He's got the hottest takes with the highest stakes. He should be president of the United States, but it's Cust Corner, it's Cust Corner. Cust Corner,
Not Cust.
No, very Cust. Incredibly Cust. All right, next game. Dallas at San Francisco. San Francisco is getting 6 points at home against the Cowboys, who have Ezekiel Elliott back again for at least 2 weeks. Who knows what's going on with that?
As long as he misses the Thanksgiving feast versus the Chargers.
Oh, is that against Chargers?
Yeah. It's our biggest game of the year because we suck.
I like the over in this game. I'll just come out and say that right away. 6 seems too much for San Francisco.
It does.
I mean, they lost to Carolina week 1 at home, and they got beat by a bunch. But since then, they've been playing close games.
I believe they're 5-1 ATS.
No, I think they're 4-2. They lost week 1 and they didn't cover the Colts game.
Either way, when it's all said and done, the 49er fan will be exponentially happier than the Jet fan because everything that's happening with San Francisco, this team competes, they lose, you feel confident in the coach, you think you're going to have Kirk Cousins next year, maybe the draft pick, you can sign Kirk Cousins and then you can use that top pick to help something else. I like San Francisco. I do believe it's too many points, but I will worry that I'm going to fall into this trap of San Francisco's covering and they're making games close, but they have big deficits like in the Indy game and last week. Like they're right, are they not digging huge holes that they're then backdooring tight losses, overtime losses, heartbreaking or really close? Pierre Garçon got an offensive PI that really put them in a bad spot.
That screwed them.
Yeah. In last week's game.
And they have CJ Guilty Beathead.
Yeah, so
he's now their quarterback.
I'm worried that I'm now taking this 6, and this will be the game that they don't find a way back into. But Dallas off a bye scares me. But
Dallas's defense sucks.
Yeah, this Lee's back though, to my understanding.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Well, he'll last 3 plays.
Okay, but yeah, I'm with San Fran on the points.
Coin is taking Dallas. Tim, who are you taking?
I'm picking San Francisco plus the 6. I think the Niners are going to win the ball game. And get their first win of the year. I picked Dallas to win the NFC. I'm forsaking that pick as well.
What's Dallas' record?
So he has now given up on both of his Super Bowl participants, Oakland and Dallas. Now this worries me about the San Francisco.
Who's making the Super Bowl?
I don't know out of the AFC yet. Out of the NFC, I feel pretty confidently it's going to be Philadelphia.
Oh, sorry, Eagles fans.
But I haven't decided in the AFC yet. It's too up in the air. I don't know. I guess if I had to pick a team gun to my head, I would stick with the Titans, who I had in the AFC title game, and would pick the Titans to go to the Super Bowl now, I guess.
Did not see that coming.
But is this just because he can't acknowledge the Chiefs?
I still don't think the Chiefs are good. I still don't trust. Alex Smith is the betting favorite to be the MVP of the league right now.
Yeah, I don't make that bet.
Yeah, I don't believe in him still.
Do you have the odds out in front of you?
I can pull him up. Last time I looked, he was plus 150, but I'll pull him up over chat.
What are Drew Brees' odds to win MVP?
That's a good question.
If the Saints get to 11-5 because their defense is improved, voters won't care. They'll be like, "Oh, Drew Brees."
You're right about that. The perception will be it was all Drew Brees.
Yeah. So anyway, You work on that. We'll go to the next game. Cincy at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a -5 favorite. They're going to get pressure on Andy Dalton. It's one thing they're going to do. If Joe Mixon can get running in this game with Cincinnati coming off a bye, I think they can control the clock a lot here. Cincy's defense has been a lot better since Burfict came back, although he probably gets ejected from this game at some point by getting into a fight. I don't know what to make of Pittsburgh. Like, per DVOA, they're a top 5 team. I mean, I was on them last week. They didn't even look particularly good. Their defense is really good. They get to the quarterback. The pass defense has been basically the best in the league. But I think A.J. Green can solve them. I really do. I mean, then it just devolves into, who do you trust more right now? Andy Dalton or Big Ben? I probably trust them about the same.
This is a contention. This is a super lock contention for me on the Bengals.
Really?
Yeah.
Tell me.
I think the spread is too high. They always play close games. You look at the final scores, I believe so many of them are within that touchdown. And those results are, I'd argue, with a Ben Roethlisberger that was better than the one that we're getting today. I just think it's too many points. I expect a really tight game. Bengals off the bye. Steelers off a big road win. I'll keep it within the number.
I'm inclined to agree with you on Cincinnati as well. Tim, you're in?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like year after year after year, these guys play 3-point games. In the last few years, the last time these two teams played, like in the playoffs, it was a 2-point game. So they play really tight. I think 5.5 points is way too many for a team that's lost to both the Bears and Jaguars recently. When you talk about Superlocks, the Bengals are right there with me too. I'm thinking about it. So, but I like the Bengals, and I have those MVP odds too.
What's Drew Brees?
So Drew Brees is plus 2,000.
Oh, so 20-1?
Yeah. So at the moment
it's not that bad.
So Carson Wentz has jumped Smith for MVP. Plus 175 Wentz, plus 200 Smith.
Those are
the two favorites. Then there's a gap. Then it's Brady at plus 400. Then Watson, Wilson, Cousins, and Breeze.
I think I like Breeze. Brady and Breeze. Those two.
Yeah, I think Breeze and but if Philadelphia goes 14-2, it's going to be Wentz.
Philadelphia's not going 14-2. Calm down.
Or if they go 13-3, like it'll be Wentz because he plays in a big city and he's a quarterback and people. I just think Wentz has got the inside track. Brady too, because his team is god awful and it'll be the first year he probably maybe actually really does deserve MVP in a lot of ways because he's doing it all himself. Kirk Cousins would be my sleeper, I think, though.
Kirk Cousins is not winning MVP.
I saw this great Kirk Cousins stats. All his receivers are ranked like outside of 35, but his quarterback ranking is actually pretty solid.
Yeah, he spreads the ball around a lot. He has the few rushing touchdowns. The other thing I want you to look at, what are Cincinnati's odds to win that division?
Okay, let me pull it up.
Because if you don't believe in Pittsburgh, right now I think Pittsburgh is the second Super Bowl favorite in terms of betting odds. Like, they're just being overvalued because they're the Steelers. And now they just beat the best team in the league, the Chiefs. So, of course, they're really good. And I think it's, like, if Cincinnati wins this game, I think they're a half game back of Pittsburgh for the division lead. Plus, they'd have the game in hand against them with the tiebreaker win. It's tough to go into Pittsburgh and win, obviously. It feels
you know the Bengals odds?
Yeah, to win the division, was it like plus 600?
Plus 600, indeed.
I think that's a decent bet.
I would take the Bengals and the Ravens at both at plus 600 and just bet against the Steelers. I think that's a reasonable one.
The Ravens aren't good, man.
Buffalo at plus 900 is a smart bet, too.
No, it's not. Buffalo's going to crumble.
It's going to happen, but the idea that New England is minus 1,600 is laughable. That's an unjustifiable number. So,
no, I think it's pretty justifiable since they're going to win the division.
Maybe.
Either way, Cincinnati, I think, has a better than a 1 in 6 chance of winning that division. And starting this week, if they can win this game, I don't even care if they win or not. As long as they cover the 5, I'm in. So I'm going to go Cincinnati. Next game, Denver at the San Diego Chargers, currently playing in Los Angeles, who are favored by 1 point, Geoff. You don't like that.
You guys go first.
We can't spend all day on the Chargers. You start
I don't
us
have
off.
a lot to say.
Well, then start us off.
I'm weirded a little out by the number. It's nice. Their quality of wins haven't been against the greatest teams, but they're winning close games. Don't know that I could advise betting on it, but it's a really big home game that happens to be on the road.
Do you think that we'll see like 80% Denver fans?
Yeah, of course.
So Simeon's banged up, dealing with a shoulder. He probably still plays, but if not, you get Brock Osweiler in the game.
I hope.
Emmanuel Sanders is not playing.
I like it.
Demarius Thomas is yet to practice this
Chargers
week.
are getting healthier.
Chargers are getting healthier, and they just got Mike Williams back. Who?
Whatever. He played 10 snaps last week to what I watched in the presser. The coach yesterday, I think that doesn't get over 25, like 20, 25 this week.
You ease him in.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, Corey Davis, they rushed him out with that hamstring problem week 1, then he retweaked it. He's still out and he's still not practicing. Tim, do you have a lean on this game?
I love the Bolts.
Love the Bolts.
Love them. I mean, look.
2 weeks after saying we're like losers and we got nothing and, you know,
Denver smells a lot like the Vikings from last year, a team that had a decent start but actually is not very good. I think that they can make it. Yeah, but I also picked the Chargers to make the playoffs before the season began. I thought this team had late.
It is true, he did.
And I still think, the AFC is terrible. If you're not the Cleveland Browns, you can make the playoffs in the AFC. So, I mean, why can't it be that this is a huge game for the Chargers? It means a lot more to them than it does to Denver because they lost the first game between these two teams. If they get swept in this game, if they get swept and it really hurts the divisional record, they've already lost to the Chiefs and the Broncos, so they'd be at best they could go 3-3 in division, and it's an AFC loss. The Chargers need the game. This would be a terrible game for them to lose. They got to have it. They will have it.
They have to have it.
This could be a bad Rivers game. If it's bad Rivers shows up, this defense can take advantage of that. If we get like shitty Rivers.
Yeah, but we're getting some good balance. We're the second worst first down team in the league.
That's not good.
Which is really annoying. Unless Wisenhunt goes in there being like 2nd and 9 is where we want to be. So hopefully we can get things off balance. Told you last week Hunter was going to roar. And he's climbing. I see your tight end rankings. He's making his move.
Didn't help you against me last week.
No, he didn't. But I'm telling you, from a fantasy perspective, this guy's about to be a monster in the second half, Pat. There's not a red zone possession where I don't recall he not getting targeted. Even last week, right before the half, he got it to like the inch line. He couldn't reach it over. He's the best thing that isn't Melvin Gordon in this offense.
You know that Keenan Allen has 9 red zone targets this year?
He's a target machine. Unfortunately, we run these third down crosses short of the chains. Way too much. It is beyond infuriating. We can move on. We're wearing the powder blues. It is a huge game. From 0-4, I've set a mini goal of 5-5, but if we can get, I would take 6 and.
You would take 6-4 after starting 0-4?
No, 6-6 is what I meant. Like just get to 500 and then try to fight to the finish. But they're getting healthier, and if Simeon can be moved off his spot, it's our pass rush.
Do you worry about their run defense?
Abso-freaking-lutely. We are horrible. Denzel Perryman was on the reserved IR. He can't come back till week 10. We lost him in the second preseason game. According to Pro Football Focus, he would solve all of our middle linebacker problems. And the problem is we're getting great penetration from the outside, but the middle isn't doing its job on the defense, and that's a problem.
So I guess...
if I were building a Draftkings team this week, C.J. Anderson would be the very first pick I would make.
Well, he's the same price as Melvin Gordon.
I like him better than Melvin Gordon this week. I do.
He's in like a 3-way timeshare now. I get your point on it, but...
If the Chargers actually played in a home stadium, they'd be a field goal favorite?
I would think so, yeah. I think they're starting to factor that in. I'm actually going to take the Chargers as well. I don't feel great about it, though.
You've taken the Chargers every single week this year. People are like... Because I have friends that I've like made kind of like the Chargers because they're around me. They're like, you've gotten to Pat. And I'm like, I think getting to Pat is impossible. Like, Pat isn't wavered by anything I've ever said once.
Oh, I don't know.
He's picked the Chargers every single week.
Well, the Chargers, they play close games. So I think...
But now if they lose the 2-point game,
sure,
there's no wiggle room with this.
Yeah, but I think they can win a 3-point game.
They're the safest teaser team in the league, it seems.
But just like the last 2 weeks, they were getting 3.5. Like, why not take the 3.5?
Yeah. No. You've got your own logic. I'm just saying, I do... Nothing I have ever said to you has made you pick the Chargers.
That's true.
That's all. Like, people might think...
If anything, it would make me not want to pick them.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah,
fair.
Look at how he treats the Jets.
Well, the Jets are also terrible, so that helps.
But I feel I'm more realistic than Tim. Like, I don't project 11 wins.
Tim does. Even after. He expected them to lose to New England.
The Jets are going to win more games. The Chargers are going to win more games than the Jets.
Jets might not win again all year. We'll see.
Chargers and Jets play in a few weeks.
Seattle at the Giants. The Giants are getting 5.5 points at home, coming off a big win in Denver. Seattle coming off the bye. People are really fired up. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie is back, but has Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie ever actually been good? I know he went in the first round, and people
Can I say that
people.
This is
what?
This game I feel strongest about this week.
All right, who are you taking? The Giants?
Big Blue, no doubt in my mind. Jason Pierre-Paul is going to destroy that offensive line.
My problem is
are frauds. They are not a playoff team. They are not good. They are going to be lucky to get to 8 wins. I think the team is trash. I think the Giants beat them down. The Giants win the game outright. I think the Giants win by 7. It is the 4th end of a money line parlay.
money line.
Oh yeah.
Why don't you just take the points?
No. Money line. That's where the value is.
No, the value is taking the points.
No. We're going to get more money by taking the Giants to win.
Yeah, but the points gives you outs.
I don't need outs when they're going to win.
We're not going to need outs after Kansas City loses on Thursday night.
Oh, God.
Love them. It's going to be a
I like Seattle here. At some point, Seattle, every single season, I feel like we have the same conversation about Seattle. That, hey, they don't look very good. And then every playoffs, they're there. So they're going to start going on a run of winning games here soon. And I think their defense is just going to be way too much for the Giants. I don't even know if Sterling Shepard's going to end up playing. The only big problem that I can see here, I mean, Darkwa ran all over Denver last week. I don't think he runs all over Seattle. Evan Ingram's a real problem for them, though. But some of the things that the Seahawks do really well are where the Giants are susceptible. Like, they're really bad against tight ends. Jimmy Graham's going to eat in this game. Russell Wilson can breach outside the pocket here, get himself running. And I just think the defense is just too much to overcome.
And, well, I guess they held their own. But for the most part, that Giants O-line has been turncoats. And they clearly stepped up in a big game versus the Broncos. I mean, you're both very confident in how you're talking here. I'm quite torn because to me I have this game being like 13-9 Seattle.
Well, then you like the Giants.
But in that case it's like, but like if they win they'll probably just find a way to cover sort of. I lean Seattle.
I will tell you the coin leans Seattle as well. I'm sure. I mean,
like 13-9, 13-7. It could be 13-10 or something. I don't know. I just hope Seattle can find a way.
You know what's going to be awesome.
And Tim has it money line, so Seattle's the easy pick.
Yeah, you want to know what the buster here. It's going to be awesome when that one wins and the other 3 lose somehow. But the big thing is, somehow Tim is going to bet the money line on the Giants at +5.5. Yet Giants +5.5 won't be his super lock.
I love you for that.
I'm not going to give away my super lock.
This happened a few weeks ago, like with the Charger game, too.
Yeah,
I'm not going to give away my super lock to the end of the show because that's how it's done in the business, boys.
Now he's a production savant.
All right, Sunday nighter, Atlanta at New England, -3 for the Pats at home. I don't know if Atlanta's good, man. And they suck against the AFC East. At least they suck against the AFC East at home. Maybe when they go on the road, they're going to be a lot better. But I think New England wins, so I'm going to take the -3. But this feels pushy.
I'll tell you what.
What?
This is a super lock contention for me, and it is the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons.
It's actually crazy. This team is scorning me. They cost me so much cheddar. They cost me my eliminator.
They knocked us out of Survivor last week.
Here's the thing. I think New England is a nose hair from everything that Atlanta's had. Like, the last 2 games Atlanta's played, annoying, stupid losses to both the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins games they absolutely shouldn't have lost. The New England Patriots, on the other hand, between the Tampa and Jet game, 2 games they very easily could have lost. But won. So now we're in this spot where New England, with their division, can maybe afford to give one back. Atlanta comes into the revenge game of supreme revenge games with just needing to get off the mat even more. I really don't see Atlanta losing this game, and this might sound crazy. I don't think New England gives a rat's ass. Like, Atlanta cares so much more about this game. New England's just like, okay, whatever. We'll move on.
See, I think that actually works in the favor of New England.
Maybe it does, but I'm not saying what's going to happen in December or January when they win their easy division and are in the playoffs and coaching and quarterback play gets even more heightened and important. I'm not debating what the Patriots can do then, but they are what Tim said they were 3 weeks ago. Like, they're not good.
Sure. And listen, I'm with you that I think that New England might be a play against team for a lot of the year, but I happen to think Atlanta's the same way. Like, I don't think Atlanta's very good.
And I'm so freaking annoyed because I spent the first month at this goddamn desk talking about this team and a letdown, and they avoid it in
the first few weeks.
The first month, and then it hits them like a brick.
Tim?
So I went back to look when these two teams played in a neutral site at the Super Bowl, the line was New England -5. Now they're playing at Foxborough, and the line is only 3.5. And these two teams are not that dissimilar from the ones that met.
It's actually -3, not 3.5.
It's -3. Is it really now -3? And these teams are not too dissimilar, except Gronkowski is playing, and he wasn't in February. So I just think the value has to be on the Patriots. I mean, there's no more bet game in the world than the Super Bowl, and the Patriots are getting more points in a neutral site. I just think that it's the first game in a long time I can remember that you are not paying a tax to bet on New England, where the Patriots are considered to be as good as the Falcons, and Vegas is playing it that way. I think that's remarkable.
That's
and
an
because
excellent point.
I want to lay the points at the Patriots.
I so rarely agree with Tim. I agree with Tim on this one.
I see what he's saying, but my minor in psychology from the University of Western Ontario says Atlanta.
It's now Western University.
They changed the name on it?
Yeah, they don't call it Western Ontario anymore, even though that's still its legal name. The lords of that beach.
So it's not like UWO?
Now it's Western.
Never happened before.
When you guys were at UWO, did you have like NWO like style shirts that you guys used to wear around?
Didn't think about it, no.
You really should have.
No. And the color's like purple, like a K-State, so I don't know. But it was actually awesome. In the 4th round many years ago, the Chargers drafted Von Martin out of Western. And out of like a Canadian university, not like anywhere. And I'm watching the ticker because they didn't like show it as they do now. And it just said Chargers, like defensive end, you want. Like you,
and you start running through your mind like,
what the F is you want? Like, what school is you want? And I guess like UW, like that could be like that's so many schools it's already taken to them. And then when it hit me, like I was the happiest guy ever.
Was he in your psychology class?
No, but when I worked at the Score here in Toronto, he was like walking through. I was wearing one of my Charger hoodies, and he literally, I didn't see him, and I got body checked into like the archive tapes, like a brick. And I turn him, I like want to be like, what the F? And it was like Von Martin. He's like, hey, buddy. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. He didn't last long. The Dolphins gave him a lot of money, like a lot of players the Dolphins give money to. They suck. And long story short, that was a waste of time.
All right.
Well,
So,
our alma mater wears purple too, but it's having an amazing year in football.
oh, man, like when you weren't paying attention, everything was good. Now they're going to be awful.
So good.
Why are you trying to jinx our alma mater?
I just think this is our year.
Oh, man.
It's been a long time coming.
Tim's going to the game this week.
Really?
I just think we're no, in 2 weeks maybe, but maybe not. Either way,
you should hand out flyers to like bring back Chili's.
Atlantic Bowl is here this year, and SMU is going to win. So
Somehow SMU has one loss, and apparently like they had a loss because they had like an ineligible player, and the
that's correct. They'd be undefeated otherwise. They're one of the very. I can't
They
wait.
played a game with a player they shouldn't have, so they automatically lost it.
I guess so.
Correct.
Weird.
But they have one loss, and they didn't even lose the game. They're still 9th in the country. Like they're not good. They're not good.
Amazing.
Where's the Vanier Cup this year, Tim?
I don't know where the actual. I think it might be at the.
Well, it's with the Grey Cup. Don't they usually do it in the same? I don't know.
They go back and forth with that. Some years it's in Quebec City, so Laval can keep having home games. It depends.
This is just thrilling talk about CIS football.
Well, whatever. It's in Hamilton.
My roommate thought he could walk on to the Western Mustangs football team.
It's not that bad.
He came home about 2 hours later, puking.
Yeah, exactly.
Puking. And like, yeah, man, sure.
Yeah, it's not. It's by no means.
Yeah, man. You went to Jewish day school. Like, you don't have what they have.
He wasn't the second coming of Chosen Rosen?
No.
Monday Nighter. Tim and I took New England, the coin, and you took Atlanta. Monday Night Football, Washington at Philadelphia. -5. Eagles at home. The world, I feel like, is going to be on the Eagles in this game.
We know where Tim is.
This is another rematch from week 1, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And Philly won that game, as I recall.
Tim,
you lead us.
Philadelphia wins. And Washington's a good team.
Well, winning and covering are two different things.
I was mistaken about Washington. They're a better team than I thought they would be. However, I think Philadelphia is rolling, and I love everything about their team. I don't trust Kirk Cousins in primetime. I never did. I still don't. I think that the Eagles win it by a touchdown, and therefore we have an Eagles cover.
All right, so when does the Ander curse hit the Eagles? This will be a nice poll for people. If you want to leave it in the comments, and leave it along with your Draftkings name as well, because I've been running this contest where people leave their Draftkings names in the comments with whatever I've been talking about, and they'll be entered in a draw for a prize. It's a secret prize, but it's going to be a good prize. So what week do you think that the Eagles get Ander cursed? Like last year, the Falcons were super Ander cursed. It didn't hit them until the second half of the Super Bowl. So it could be this week for Philly. It could be the Super Bowl for Philly. So it's going to be somewhere in between. I don't necessarily know if the Eagles, it happens to them this week, and Philly might still win the game. I am going to take Washington, though.
What's the worst that could happen?
Their quarterback?
That's not going to happen.
Well, you asked what's the worst. I wouldn't hope that on anybody.
Well, Lane Johnson is back for this game, and Jonathan Allen is out for the season for the Skins. Josh Norman is not going to be back either. But their defense, it got kind of chopped away by San Francisco, like San Francisco does the teams every single week. Once they get down by so much, it's like the other team doesn't realize that San Francisco is good enough to throw the ball, so they stop caring. It happens every single week, and I feel like that happened to Washington last week. I think they can keep it close here. Five is a big number.
As we're recording now, I definitely lean to taking the points. It's a lot of points. I don't have a strong opinion, but I lean to the Redskins just keeping it close on Monday like they did in Arrowhead before the game got silly. Well,
I had Kansas City. That was perfect for me.
Yeah.
Do you think that I didn't have any money on the Titans and Indy game on Monday night? That was sort of a similar situation. Because Derrick Henry breaks off the 70-yard run, Titans cover, and the over hits.
I was asleep.
Monday night?
Yeah.
Really?
Late.
It's kind of late.
By the time that football game was ending,
it was pretty nothing football game as well.
I didn't care.
All right, let's get to the Super Locks. Tim, you've been covering this up the entire time. You are 4-2 in the Super Locks after hitting Arizona last week. Where are you going this week?
The New York Giants plus 5.5.
Okay, good.
Good.
Jeff, who are you taking? You're 2-4 in the Super Locks.
Should a Super Lock not be Giants money line?
Then, well, I mean, we knew it by the spreads.
I guess.
Because last week I would have picked an over-under if that was the case. Because I loved an over-under.
I'll say this. I'm debating between the Packers, the Bengals, and the Falcons. Let's call it the Bengals.
Cincinnati plus 5?
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
I was hoping for more, but we'll take the 5. And I've used the Cincies as a Super Lock this year, and that was epically horrible.
Yeah, it did not work out for you.
No.
Not at all. And we should have locked in the Bengals the week they played the Bills, and we were all over them. I don't have a super strong feeling about any game, unlike last week where I just looked at the card, I was like Steelers and circled them, and I was all in. So this one's a bit of a kind of toss-up. I like the Rams a lot, but that London game freaks me out.
Miami?
Might just take the Titans. You can't go wrong with that.
I'm just kind of going by the confidence you made your pick in during the show.
I like the Packers. The Packers I gave some consideration to as well. Jacksonville, Chicago I felt really good about. But I think I'm going to make my Super Lock the Tampa Bay Buccaneers plus 3.5. Whether they play Jameis, whether they play the Fitzmagic, I like them to at least stay within a field goal of the Bills.
And it's on his parlay?
Yeah, it's on Tim's. Yeah, it's going against Tim. That's usually what happens. Try to find the game that Tim loses in his parlay and just bet against that. That's the move. All right, Tim, so can you recap your 1-5 on the year free money parlays?
Yeah, we're going to connect the Chiefs to win, the Titans to win, the Bills to win, and the Giants to win. Bet the farm, win acres of farms.
Yeah, you would win more than a farm this time if this one hits.
I have a question. Let's say you're alive and it's 420. Are you hedging? I guess because you have the money line, you can't really hedge. It makes it hard because you got to lay.
That's the thing. If
the Seahawk money line is a stupid number.
All it is Tim getting greedy by trying to prop up. Like, how much does that pay? That must pay like 10-1 or more.
It pays good money.
So the thing is, if you just put the spread on with the Giants and the 5.5, you have such an easy out if you want to hedge against it.
Yeah, but I want to win more money.
And the game could even start with a Giants field goal, and all of a sudden,
you get
even if the others don't count, because sometimes
you
got
try
to
to middle. Yeah. Anyway, it's gonna be over when Oakland wins Thursday night.
I hope not, because I am parlaying the Chiefs and the Dodgers.
All right.
Well, I think we're going to lose that bet, but not because of the Chiefs.
Really?
Yeah, I
Are
think
you
the
one of
Cubbies
these
going to win.
Clayton Kershaw sucks guys?
No, I think the Dodgers are going to win in 7. I think they're going to lose 3 straight and then win in 7.
Clown shoes.
All right, that'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. I want to thank Geoff Fienberg for being here. I would like to thank the coin, hot fire. Always believe the coin. Susceptible to trap games, the coin is not. Susceptible to trap games is Tim Cust.
Tim Cust.
That is not my name.
And you do love falling into a trap.
No, I don't.
Yeah, Mousetrap. Couldn't beat it.
That's a bad movie.
Can I
It's
say
a board game.
This guy has the filet of fish as the #1 ranked McDonald's item.
Yeah, and it's pretty clearly the best. No other sandwich has a steamed bun. Next. Also has the best sauce at McDonald's, the filet of fish sauce.
Ew. You're fucking disgusting.
It's awesome.
Gross.
You know, if you want to argue the apple pies are better, I'll listen. If you want to argue the fries are better, I'll listen. But that's it. Those 3 things are the list.
Listen, I'm a nugs
You
guy.
know what?
I love a nug.
Yeah, I'm a nugget guy too, but this guy, like, I don't want to take a shot without knowing the full details. Like, did your mom ever make you pancakes?
Yes, but, you know...
So how can you think that McDonald's is the best pancakes ever?
They do make the best hotcakes. It's amazing. And you put on their thick syrup and
No
some
one has ever made you pancakes with love as an ingredient. to think McDonald's makes a better pancake.
They make the best pancakes. They always have.
Case closed.
If we're talking sandwiches, the junior chicken's the best.
Fish fillet's not even top 5.
No, it's last. Filet
Junior
of
chicken
fish.
is fine.
Filet of fish. Get over
Nothing wrong-
yourself.
Nothing wrong with the junior chicken. It's not in the filet of fish's league.
All right, we're out of here. I'm Pat Mayo. You can follow me on Twitter at @ThePME. Remember to subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Google Play, on Podomatic, and Audio Boom. For the video versions, you can check it on the DK Live app and on the Draftkings Facebook page and on the Draftkings YouTube page. It's everywhere. You can go to the column, and if you want the cheat sheet for all the picks, that is up on Facebook.com/ThePME. I'm Pat Mayo. Good luck this week. I'll see you next time.